The San Francisco 49ers offense, led by Brock Purdy, showed some things against the Seattle Seahawks that I definitely think can work against the Eagles coming up this Sunday. So that's kind of what we're going to do. So we're going to hop into the tape versus the Seattle Seahawks, and we're going to kind of see how we can look at what the 49ers did on Thanksgiving and extrapolate that out towards what they can do against the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. And so we're going to get into it all right now. Make sure you put your do not disturb signs on your door in case your boss tries to come in, because we are going live right now. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What's going down, everybody? Figured we'd I was like, should we watch the tape? Should we not watch the tape? No, we're gonna watch the tape today, and we're gonna see how the 49ers can take what they did against the Eagles and do that against the Philadelphia Eagles. But I saw this earlier today from Cheyenne. She says, I keep getting interrupted at work during your lives, so my boss told me to put up a do not disturb sign on my door. And this is the do not disturb sign that Cheyenne made, put together, and said, do not disturb in a meeting with Brad. So if you don't have this yet and you need to figure out a way to let people know that it's time to go live, just put that outside your door. People aren't going to mess with you anymore. Very interested to see if Cheyenne has found success with this sign, but hilarious. It brought a huge smile to my face to see this. It was like, oh, okay. I like that. But we're here today to kind of look at some of the highlights from 49ers versus Seattle. And again, the way I kind of want to preface it is like, how do the 49ers take what they did against the Seattle Seahawks and kind of construct a game plan of how they can take care of business against the Eagles coming up. As we know, we got a really, really tough matchup coming up this weekend against Philly. We've already talked quite a bit about that. And so I kind of want to look at how the 49ers can use this game plan. And honestly, it really starts up front. One of the things that the 49ers have kind of struggled with throughout the year is just really, really honing in on the run game. I really think that's what it comes down to, is if the San Francisco 49ers can utilize Christian McCaffrey inside the tackles and outside the tackles, and the zone game, I think, is going to be a huge, huge element of that. I think if the 49ers can get back to implementing some of their zone running scheme, that is really going to help this team stay on the field offensively and keep Jalen Hurts off the field. I think that's got to be a big point of emphasis for this game coming up, is to keep Jalen off the field. Don't give him the ball. Shoot clock, do all that type of stuff, and let Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense cook. This play actually right here, I thought was probably some of Brock's best throws against Seattle were throws that did not count. And I think that this was one of them. His ability to utilize play action, scramble, and throw on the move. He threw an absolute dart, but you got to credit the defensive back for being able to push him out of bounds. But really phenomenal individual effort here by Brock to be able to get out. Bro, What kind of throw is that? On the move, right on the money. Again, great play to push Kittle out of bounds, but that is a absolute dime. Brock was cooking. But when I think of what I think the 49ers need to do against Philly is they need to do a lot of this. I think they need to control the line of scrimmage. They need to run the ball. We don't know what the conditions are going to be in Philly, so that's going to be a big question mark. But if the San Francisco 49ers continue to run to this type of effectiveness, this is going to be so huge for everything else. Obviously, the 49ers love to run play action. Philadelphia knows we love to run play action. In fact, that's how they hurt both of our quarterbacks last year was on play action. If we can really, really get the run game settled in like this, and we get this early, it's going to challenge Philly a lot. And this is just zone, and it's basically split zone, and then with Kittle coming across the formation, and it's a great job by McCaffrey pushing left and then seeing the cutback lane and cutting right off Jonathan Feliciano, angling towards Colton McKivitz. Great blocks up front. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Then this is exactly the point. They have a hesitancy to like bite on play action. We got to make them bite on play action. We got to. We got that. We need the run game to be working so effectively that they do bite, that they aren't just sending the dogs after Brock Purdy, because that's ultimately what we saw. And, we saw him go down that way. And we don't want that to occur again. So I think, and you could see the setup that Kyle was working in those 6 plays before Brock went down. He was trying to get the run game going, similar formations, and really tried to work off play action. The call was there. It just unfortunately ended in a situation that we did not like. This throw, it's a pretty simple one, right? You've basically what appears to be, I don't even know what this is, but it looks like you got Deebo Samuel manned up on Bobby Wagner, so that's a matchup you like. And then his ability to throw with anticipation. Deebo's just getting out of his break. Brock starting his windup, puts it right on him. Not bad. Not bad. But again, I think it all starts up front. I think this was one of the best performances of the offensive line on the year, whether it was pass protection, whether it was in the run game. Like when I say that too, I'm also not saying that they were perfect on the day, but they really played together very, very well. And that's been one of the things that I've been talking about with this offensive line unit is that if they all play their game like they should play their game, they're very, very hard to beat. And when they do that, they tend to find a lot of success. And no different was shown in this game against Seattle with the guys up front. So I think that's really going to be a huge point of emphasis for the 49ers. I really love this play design because if you look at the pre-snap formation, you start out with Christian McCaffrey wide. You got a 2-by-2 formation out of shotgun with Debo Samuel flanked to the right. They put CMC behind the tackle, so almost in the same exact position as Debo, and this is basically an option play where I don't think it's I don't think it's necessarily called as an option. I think it's a straight handoff to Debo, but you can see Purdy is showing shovel action underneath to Christian McCaffrey. And that shovel action freezes both the linebackers. You can see Bobby kind of break down, and that's why Debo was able to walk in untouched. So great design, great execution, and it got the Seattle Seahawks. And I think that's how the 49ers need to get Philly is they need to run the football like this. Like if you're walking in for a touchdown like that, that is a good spot to be in. And I do think that this is the toughest question that the San Francisco 49ers have coming up is who do they start at right guard? Um I do believe that some of the advantages in the run game that we've seen over the last 2 weeks is in part due to Feliciano being in at guard. He's just brought a level of consistency to the group, which is a really underrated aspect of playing offensive line. Again, offensive line, we like to highlight the big pancakes and the awesome technique and the cool plays, but you got to be consistent for the majority of the game. That's really what it comes down to. And Feliciano has been pretty consistent, and he had his hand and fingerprints on some of the big plays that were busted in this game against Seattle. So it is going to be interesting to see how they manage it moving forward. Do they do a timeshare split? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but I think Feliciano's made it a really difficult decision for them. It's a good problem to have, but it will be very interesting to see what decision they ultimately make. Um, this was just a great throw by Brock Purdy, by the way. I mean, you got a little stunt action here, and Trent isn't able to get around it fast enough. It's a really late developing stunt. It's a really good design by Williams to push up the field and then spin. It's just I don't even think Trent saw it till the last second. And then Purdy has to throw with that pressure in his face, throws a dot. Debo was cooking this game, but so was Brock. Brock was cooking this game. Obviously, only had the one touchdown, and he had the interception. It's really the only time that Brock looked uncomfortable was in when he was playing out of his own end zone. But Brock was really slicing him up. Again, so as you can see, they're running to the right side. They're running off the right side. Kind of the split zone look is where you're going to have Kittle coming across the formation, which is a pretty normal sight. It's designed to look like it's a run going to the left, but it's effectively a zone, so the running back can choose his path based on what he sees, and so you can see him working back across the grain, and you're getting great blocks on the backside. Feliciano gets just enough on Williams that CMC can get by. Colton McKivitz to linebacker, Jawan Jennings. This is the type of blocking that we have been looking for on a more consistent basis. So like I said, that's I think the biggest key to beating the Philadelphia Eagles is to have a extremely effective run game and get the blocking, and this is a huge task. Their defensive line is crazy. And so this is going to be a really difficult challenge for them. This to me, this throw really stood out to me. Um, so this is completely out of structure, right? They call Brock a system quarterback and all that good stuff. This throw is completely out of structure, broken down play. He's just not trying to get tackled for a sack. And as he's scrambling to his right, and he kind of angles upfield, he's directing Jawan Jennings to get your behind upfield. If Jennings just runs to the back of the end zone, this is probably a touchdown. But what Jennings does is try to get the leverage and expects a like jump ball scenario. But if he just turns and runs towards the back of the end zone, like there's a good chance he could have came down with that. And then the other thing that I was thinking of was like how easily that ball traveled on Brock. That was like 50 air yards on the run, on the move. If you really look at how far the ball did that traveled, it travels about 50 yards from where he launches this thing. Look at how easily he just flipped that thing up there, and it just traveled a solid 50 on him. Brock Purdy is really beating the dink and dunk allegations like to the fullest extent. Like he is pushing the ball down consistently. It's one of my favorite things about Brock Purdy at training camp that we watched this past offseason, even though he wasn't hitting on everything. And that was the main focus, right? Of what everyone was talking about, how he's missing the deep throws. And my interpretation of it was he's the only quarterback in 49ers training camp who is consistently pushing the ball downfield. He's one of the only guys taking multiple deep shots a day. And it is no surprise that you see that same mentality that he had in practice translate to game day. No surprise. No surprise at all. I thought that was a phenomenal throw and really could have been a touchdown if Jennings was more on the same page with like what Brock was trying to do. Man, if the 49ers can run like this on Philly, this is going to be such a game changer for them. Again, Feliciano pulling. Watch him roll this block because the defender doesn't rush upfield. You see how 58 flattens with Kittle? So you're taught as an offensive lineman, as a puller, get your head on the outside shoulder, roll your hips around. Instead of kicking out, you're rolling him back inside so that the running back can then cut up off your hip. And that's exactly what CMC does. Watch it again. You're going to see 58 not get depth. He's going to push down the line. Feliciano does exactly what he's coached to do, roll that block to the inside, and that's going to give Christian McCaffrey the ability to cut up. And We just have a superstar running back who can literally look Tyreek Woolen in the face, give him a high five, and run right by him. And then you've got Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk blocking downfield. This is going to be the difference, in my opinion, in this game. Obviously, having Brock Purdy play well and, being effective in this game is going to be huge. But this run game starts up front. Big test for the offensive line. And to be honest with how they're playing, I feel pretty good. Aaron Banks had a pretty quality game. Feliciano had a quality game. I thought Colton did well. Brendel did pretty decent. So the question becomes is what do the 49ers decide to do with their starting O-line? Do they keep the continuity as it is, as we've seen the run game find success the last 2 weeks? Or do they kind of go back to what they had? This was the third and Jawan, his only reception, but a big, big time reception at that. Called out Witherspoon on an IG post on this one. But hey, got to wrap up, got to tackle, got to bring these guys to the ground. If you're not going to do that, Jawan Jennings is going to get loose and get a crucial, crucial third down. I think we got the Bobby Wagner play coming up. Yeah. All right. We got the Bobby Wagner play coming up right here. I posted about this. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little surprised by how much traction this clip got. I was just like, "Oh, this is funny," because you're gonna watch Bobby Wagner. He's gonna get in there pretty quickly, and then of course you're gonna see Brock flip it to Kittle, and then Bobby kind of tosses him down and then stands over him. And I posted it to Twitter, did numbers, posted it to YouTube, did numbers. Then I posted it to uh, Instagram. It did numbers as well. And so kind of watching this clip back, I I look at my DMs. Look at my DMs and it's Bobby Wagner. I look at my DMs at Bobby Wagner's. I was like, "You have a message from Bobby Wagner." I was like, "Oh God, what's he going to say?" Like you can, I don't want to show the message, but like you can see right there at the top, B Wags. So Bobby jumped into the DMs, and we actually had a nice little chat. Bobby, I totally respect Bobby Wagner as a player, as a Seattle defender. He's a Seattle defender. We don't like Seattle. But so this is Bobby Wagner's literal interpretation of this particular play. He was saying that he was more frustrated with the refs than like anything with Brock Purdy. He was saying that he thought the whistle should have been blown dead by then. And the fact that it hadn't been dead, he was frustrated with the refs more than Brock. He said he's got no ill will towards Brock. We talked about the rivalry a little bit. Apparently, nothing against Brock. I thought that was funny. I was not expecting to be going and having a conversation with Bobby Wagner in the DMs today. But that happened. And it's because of this play. And Hendricks is calling cap. I told him, I was like, I chalked it up to you just asserting your dominance over over Brock. That's pretty much what I took it as was you just being like, I'm a defensive player and you better feel me. That was my interpretation of it. And he's like, nah, he said he was frustrated with the rest. So, all right, hey, we'll see. We'll see. We got another matchup. We got another matchup coming up. So we'll see. Right after Eagles, we're back to the Seahawks. We're gonna see the Seahawks right after the Eagles. So we'll be seeing them again very shortly. Is this a draw? I think this is a draw. No, it's not a draw. It's thinking of a different play. Um, but we do have Christian McCaffrey touchdown coming up. Here's a setup for it. Let's see. Dude, CMC's such a beast, man. Such a beast. Just plows straight into the dude, runs him over, touchdown. Banks. That's not the play. Here's the play. I thought this was a really good pickup by Aaron Banks. You're going to see Leonard Williams try to shoot the A gap, and Banks knows he has help to the inside because there's sliding protection to the left. So you see how Banks's eyes instantly go outside. He keeps one arm in, exactly how it's coached because he knows he has help to the inside. And then the defender splits, basically that's Jamal Adams, gets across Williams, and then Trent or Banks is able to help and pick that up. And then Brock just throws it out, but good pickup here by Banks. I thought Banks played pretty well on the day. This throw with anticipation was pretty dang nice. You got man coverage. Brock starts to throw this before Kittle's out of his break, puts it right on the money. I mean, you talk about timing. Boom. Nice. Look at the pocket. They bring a blitz with a stunt to the outside. Not bad. Not bad at all. Christian McCaffrey's touchdown was crazy, though. I want to show that. This touchdown run is absolutely insane. I can't believe Christian scored here. Absolutely just stops. He just stops, hides behind his offensive line. Look at all of them flowing to the left. He stops to their left. And then he just understands the flow so well that he hugs right off these guys' hips. Dude, crazy. Absolutely crazy. There's maybe like 5 people in the world doing this. Like, this is crazy. I mean, this they sell so hard. The cutbacks were on fire this game. And that's what makes zone running so difficult is because everyone's flowing to the left. So your mind is telling you, like, yeah, let's go to the left. But you can if you're not playing, you know, your assignments on the backside, those cutback lanes can be huge. Or in Christian McCaffrey's case, he just creates cutback lanes because he's a freak. Um, really crazy, really, really crazy. Let's finish it. Let's wrap her up with a Brock Purdy dart touchdown. I'm sure you guys seen this play a million times at this point, considering it's basically Wednesday now, and this game was played last Thursday. Dime. Dime. This is if anyone calls Brock Purdy a system quarterback, literally all you have to show them is this play because it's completely outside the system. Completely outside the system of what Kyle Shanahan was trying to do on this play. Oh, so good. So good. That's it. I know you guys don't really care. Let me rephrase that. I know you guys are on to Philly. Um, I'm just super late to getting through the tape. I just finished it today. I've been super behind. When I get I've noticed, like, when I get outside, like, my normal routine of the week, having Sunday games and, like, what the content looks like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like, I was at someone else's house last week. Um, it's just a weird setup with, Thanksgiving being in the middle of the week, but, had to get to it. Had to show some of it and try to tie it in as best I can to Philly. Oh. So how are we feeling? One day closer to the matchup that we've all been anxiously waiting for. How are we feeling as we get closer to this game with the Philadelphia Eagles? You guys feeling confident? I still feel pretty darn confident. I'm feeling more confident, I think, after even watching the tape. I still have the defense that I need to watch, but I really did like the performance by the offense. So we'll see. We'll see. What other things can we talk about? What other things in 49ers land can we talk about? What happened today? Oh, I did see George Odom. He posted today to his Instagram that he had successful bicep surgery today, and will hopefully be ready to go pretty soon. So that's good news. 49ers signed uh Keemon Hall along with Eric Harris to the practice squad. Yeah. I saw that as well. 25% up. I think it was up from 19% last year. Uh, which again, I was at that game. It felt like there were no 49er fans there, but I also wasn't wearing a ton of red. So I think the smart move, to be honest, like if you're going to go to Philly and you just want to enjoy the game, I would wear as little amount as red as possible. Just just for the simple fact of Philly fans are extremely obnoxious, and if you go to Philly red head to toe in red, they're like bulls. They're gonna be like target practice. They're gonna just start throwing stuff at you. Um, I had a pretty nice experience. I didn't have anyone mess with me. I had no one heckle me. Um, but I always kind of go to games. I typically wear jerseys to away games, but that one I had to do my Cron 4 interview after it, so I was dressed for that. But that's definitely a hectic place for sure. A lot of middle fingers. Not sure I've ever seen that many middle fingers at a football game. Um, what happened to signing JV? Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I thought that was really interesting because one of the things that I've noticed about the San Francisco 49ers when they don't talk about roster moves that haven't been made. Does that make sense? Like if there's like a signing or a player they're interested in or whatever, like they don't talk about it openly. So the fact that they were kind of like alluding to the fact that they're expected to sign him. I found that to be odd in real time because I'm like, typically in the NFL, you don't talk about things until they're done because so much can change. And I think that's what happened. I think so much had changed. I think you lose two of your safeties. You lose Talanoa Fonga and George Odom in back-to-back weeks. Spencer Burford gets hurt. That forces them to sign the Jaguars offensive lineman from their practice squad to their active. Then they got to go sign more safeties. Uh, so I think it's just literally one of those situations. Like I think they want to bring him in, and I think they really had a strong idea to bring in Jason Verrett, but I think so many other things happened that it didn't make sense based on what the timing was. That's why I found it odd that they spoke openly about it, about something that hadn't happened yet or they expected it to happen. And I was just like, they normally don't do that for the reasons that I believe. Um, because everything can change really quickly in the NFL. So we'll see. There's still a long season, and maybe there will be an opportunity for Jason Verrett to be added to the roster at some point. But we'll see. We'll see. It sounds like they really needed to go the special team route, um, because that's the guys that they brought in. They brought in a safety who has a ton of some starting experience, pretty decent amount of starting experience, but is a big time special teamer. And then the cornerback they brought in has really only played special teams. Um, so I think it's just one of those things where maybe you put the cart before the horse a little bit and then some things changed and they kind of had to pivot. Oop. 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 There we go. How much run Beal and Luter are going to start getting? I'm excited for both. I mean, we saw Luter make, I think, 2 special teams tackles against Seattle. He had that one touchdown saving tackle. I wouldn't be surprised to see more of Luter. I would like to see Luter. Beal, I'm not sure because he's all the way down the depth chart. So I'm not sure how much run he's going to get. Which do you think is harder as an O lineman in a loud stadium, running or pass blocking? It's an interesting question. I would maybe say pass blocking, because if you have to go on a silent count, that kind of neutralizes your advantage of knowing the snap count. Because if you're on silent, you're reacting to the ball just like the defensive line is reacting to the ball. So pass blocking in that scenario can be really tough. Like, there's a reason Lane Johnson jumps off sides every time, is because he's very aggressive in timing the snap count. So that changes things. Also, it being loud can affect certain calls in pass protection, whether sliding to the left, to the right, communicating on stunts, identifying things pre-snap. I would probably say pass protection would be the hardest thing with a really loud stadium. It's just because the more communication, and if you do have to go to a silent count, it neutralizes your advantage of being able to know the snap count, because at that point it doesn't matter. You're just going off the ball. So it could put you about like a half tick behind of where you want to be if you could hear the snap count. So let's see, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. State of the franchise tomorrow. I think we got a Ponte on. I'm probably just gonna skip defense for this week because I know we're super focused on Philly. It's Philly time, and we'll let Seattle pass for the most part. I might be tweeting some clips out here or there on Twitter. So I apologize if you're super over Seattle. I'm super late to Seattle. But we'll see. We'll see. But so far, big test coming up. 49ers ready to go. Looking forward to this one. Appreciate all you guys tapping in today. We'll be doing more stuff tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Short, chill, kind of just vibing live. So appreciate you guys. I'm out of here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to